I just realized neither of us is wearing pink for the Mean Girls review video.
I mean,
no.
This has some pink in it.
That's maroon.
I mean, sure,
which
but
is a deep purple. It's a light maroon, but it's
yeah,
a
light
maroon
maroon.
nonetheless.
It has a maroon moment.
No, we're not filming this on a Wednesday. It's not October 3rd.
Right.
What are we doing if we...
Look, we have our own schedule, and we can't always adhere to the Mean Girls schedule, okay? Know that we're pink in our hearts. That would work for Regina, right?
Yeah, well, she doesn't have a heart. That's the thing, her heart is black.
Oh,
Yeah.
but would you let us sit with them?
Yeah, because I'm cool and hot. And
We are cool and hot. You could say we both are.
maybe on Fridays you can sit with us.
Oh!
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Two Gay Mats. It's Matt Steele.
And it's Matt Palmer.
And today we are talking about something that I want to talk about.
I
on
did
the
too.
show. Well, yes, but
Yes.
like this is my bag. This is the Matt Steele bag.
Because it's a movie?
Because it's a movie musical adapted from the stage to the screen. Literally my favorite thing on the planet, my bread and butter.
You do
so,
like that.
for everyone who might disagree with me and agree with Matt Palmer, just know I'm the one who knows what he's talking about.
Okay, but also, I would argue that I know this musical a bit better than you do.
Oh, you have
I
seen the
believe I
musical.
have seen it. I have heard it a
You
lot.
believe you've seen it?
I believe I have seen it and heard it a lot more than someone to my right.
Yes, I've only listened to the cast recording.
Yes.
And you have actually seen it on
have.
the stage in front of you.
I have,
Who-
yes.
Which one of us has seen the movie the most?
I think also me. I used to have this DVD and would like fall asleep.
I wouldn't do that. I don't sleep with the movie on.
would
but
wake up to that DVD menu fucking audio playing that they had. It was I think it was the song that was used in the movie at the part when she says "Getting loser, we're going shopping."
Okay.
Like that was the full song. That was
The fact that you know the DVD menu.
This is what I'm
says,
saying.
Okay, you've seen the movie. But we are both, elder millennials.
Yes.
And so
Are we elder? I
We're
think
mid.
we're
We're mid
midway.
millennials. Yes. And so obviously, like Mean Girls is our generation. I saw
Absolutely.
the original Mean Girls my sophomore year of high school.
Yes.
I remember when the trailer happened, and I just saw the trailer, and I was just like, what is this? It's just called Mean Girls? This movie seems like it has no plot, whatever. It doesn't look good. Then I saw it with my friends, and I was just like, okay, this is pretty funny. And then midway through the movie, I was just like, oh no, this movie is important.
Absolutely.
This movie speaks for our generation.
Yes.
It speaks to society at large. This is one of the greatest, if not greatest, comedy screenplays of the 2000s.
I saw
Period.
this movie my 17th birthday. This is the movie that I was watching when I got that iPod, and then I had my Thin Mint, and not the Thin Mint, the
York Peppermint Patty.
Peppermint Patty in my pocket, and it melted into the iPod and broke it immediately. That I was watching Mean Girls during that time. I was just a fan of Lindsay Lohan. I had seen Confessions of a Drama Queen on like a snow day, and I was like, you know what? I'll see Mean Girls, see what this is like. And it came out around my birthday. Went with a couple of friends. I wasn't expecting much. I was like, oh, just another movie. And then I was like,
Wait.
again.
Right?
Midway through the film, you're like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is my favorite movie all of a sudden. Did we have a video about the cast recording of the musical when it came out?
We did.
I feel like we did. So we have also been with the musical since it was released. Like, we definitely were interested in the cast recording when it came out. I have fallen in love with it. And so when it was announced that there was going to be a musical film version, film adaptation, we were very excited. It was initially going to be coming out on Paramount Plus, but they decided, no. This needs to be in theaters, and it made so much fucking money. I bet Paramount's happy they did that.
Oh, sure, yeah. And the thing is, it felt like a last-minute decision that they
Yes.
decided to put it into theaters.
Yes.
Because I remember it being so sudden. They're
Yes.
like, surprise, it's coming out in January, and it's like, oh, mid-January release. That's a
choice.
That's a choice.
Yes.
Where do we start? Because now we got to forget about the old movie, but you can't forget about the old
can't.
movie, which is something that the new movie taught us. Is
Yes.
like, even though we are creating our own thing,
Yes.
you can't forget about we're not going to pretend to forget about the
Hey,
original.
Mariah said don't forget about us, and I think she was talking about the original Mean Girls, which
talking about the
honestly
girls.
she could have been. It's one of her favorites as well. Let's initially talk about the things that you liked and thought worked really well. And I guess overall feelings about the film. Walking out of the film, how did you feel? Were you satiated? Did you feel like this was a good representation? Was it what you expected? How did you feel?
Overall, how did I feel?
Yes.
I thought the film was utterly fabulous.
Oh!
From beginning to fucking end.
Whoa!
I loved every goddamn second of this adaptation of the Broadway musical. Like, legitimately. I was sitting there in the Dolby Theater. As I told you, fuck IMAX.
You
It's
love
all
Dolby.
about Dolby because, as Nicole Kidman says, it's sound that I can feel. And when you are seeing a musical, that is what it
Yes.
needs to be.
Yes.
When that garage door fucking opened and we zoomed into Africa, chills.
I mean,
I was like, this is what a musical movie should be. It's like part magic, it's movement,
Yes.
movement, especially a comedy. I mean, like it is so, it helps that like Tina Fey is so good at like pace and
Yes.
like she's just such a smart writer. The thing that I find so smart about her, which is also a testament to the original screenplay of Mean Girls, is that like the jokes in the film, they're hysterical and sometimes like a little random and everything.
Right.
But what she knows to do is to, if it's a joke that's very random, it happens and then you move on. Like nothing like lingers or the joke serves the plot.
Right.
And Mean Girls is such a strong story. So every single funny moment like served that story so well. I
the
never
new
felt
jokes are so fucking
good.
funny.
The thing is, I haven't seen it on stage, so I don't know which jokes were from the stage version and which ones were added for the movie.
Yes.
But I love how Tina Fey acknowledges, like, okay, they're gonna need to hear it's October 3rd.
Of course.
They're gonna need to hear on Wednesdays we were like all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. But so she finds a way to have those jokes mean a little something different in this movie.
Totally.
Like it's October 3rd, for example, instead of like it just sort of being a montage of like times that they talked.
Yeah.
She added another layer to it, which is like she keeps saying all the wrong things. She keeps saying all the wrong things, and this was the time she said the right thing.
Exactly.
Like, oh, it's October 3rd. We did it right. You
Yes.
know. So it's like using the same joke that we're all expecting,
Right.
but in a slightly different way. So smart as far as that goes.
I also love that I feel like as the movie progressed, it got more and more like self-referential and ridiculous in a way that I really, it's kind of the way that 30 Rock progresses. Like the later seasons are just as good, but they're so off the wall and amazing. It's like she gets tired and it's like, we'll make it as weird as I want to make it.
Sure.
Which, by the way, before we get into things, I'm going to start talking about specifics. So if you have not seen Mean Girls, the musical, the movie, the musical, then this is spoilers. I'm about to go into spoilers. Okay. When she was at the gym and began to fucking sing, that was, I cackled so
Which part?
When Tina Fey starts talking and like pretends like she's going to like sing a song.
I was thinking another joke at the time.
But that's the other thing I was going to talk about.
Oh my God.
When that girl gets on stage and says, "I'm sorry that I told you were dragging during Revenge Party," and it's like, what is going on? It is so fucking funny, and it's like we're literally referencing something we just saw like an hour ago, and that's how meta this is all the way through. The comedy is never lost in a moment, and the fact that that is kept from every iteration of this film, the stage show, and now the musical film, it makes me so happy, because it's like, when 30 Rock was on, when Tina Fey was always giving us new material, it was like, oh, Tina, what a great writer. And now it's like, there's been a dearth of Tina Fey as a writer in our lives.
I mean, Tina, don't let us think we're letting you off the hook here. You need to write another movie.
Yes, this doesn't
literally ASAP.
This doesn't count as a movie that you've written because you wrote most of it already. Okay, we need a new full movie, which I think she said she was almost done with. I think she wasn't talking about this. Of the cast, there were two highlights for me.
Okay.
There were several. Renee Rapp obviously can sing her fucking face off, and I love those songs. Avantika is a fucking superstar.
I mean, that role is just so good. Sexy is the
showstopper.
That song is just a classic piece of musical comedy.
I will go into, I have some feedback on some of the songs, because this was kind of as we expected. It was very much like a remix album of the Broadway version. In my opinion, it was like, okay, these are these songs that we built and created for, the Mean Girls on Broadway, but we want to appeal to the younger audience. So like, let's do an Olivia Rodrigo remix of A Cautionary Tale. Let's do a Dua Lipa remix of Sexy, which I think of the remixes worked the best. And then let's do some Billie Eilish remixes of like Apex Predator, of Someone Gets Hurt, which I think some of things worked, some things didn't. I'll get into it later. But Sexy's new version, I think, is excellent. And I think one of the songs is better than the original. I prefer the film version of I'd Rather Be Me. I've never liked I'd Rather Be Me. I always thought it felt like we're really trying to do Evan Hansen. And so moving it into a more Olivia Rodrigo, like rocky direction, I feel like gives it more heft. Auli'i does an incredible job vocally.
She's so great. And I love how it was filmed. I love how we took it out of the gym, and I love how it focuses on her during the bus hit.
I know!
Loved it, because it kind of reminds you that, like, this is Janice's story.
Yes!
Like, you think, like, in the original movie that the main fight is between Katie and Regina, but it's like, oh no, this is a fight that stems from middle school with Janice and Regina. Like, that is the OG fight. And so that is, I love how that is what we are focusing on, especially because in the musical, in the stage version, she's the narrator. Right?
Yeah, it's she and Damien.
So, and so the movie kept that aspect.
Yes.
So I love how, like, the bus, you're not really focusing on Regina when the bus hits her.
And it also made it surprising still.
Yes,
like, I've seen this movie countless times, and when that bus hit her in the theater, I was like, ah! Like, I was definitely...
Oh, see, I was sitting there and I was just like, oh my God, let the bus hit her now, now. I don't want it to be in the middle of, like, their fight. I want it to be at the end of the song.
Indeed, that was exactly what happened. So you and Tina are on the same page. I also have to shout out Jaquel Spivey as Damien. I thought was brilliant. The way that they've changed the character, even from the Broadway, the cast recording. Like, he was clearly like an old movie head and stuff. And it was like, we're making it something different. This is a black man in the era of Beyonce's Renaissance. We're gonna make him Queenie and always having a fan on him. I feel like the best performances for me were the ones that were really deviating from the movie. Like, the best thing about Renee Rapp, besides her voice, is the fact that she is doing a completely different Regina than Rachel McAdams, which I think was a brilliant move, because we're all so in love with what Rachel McAdams did in that original film, where it's like, you've got to do something different, something that makes more sense for Gen Z, something that isn't I'm going to try to say these lines like Rachel McAdams, because you'll always feel like you're paling in comparison a bit. And I really enjoyed what she did and what Jaquel Spivey did.
Well, I think that the great thing about the Regina change is, like, in 2004, like, the most popular girl, is so girly and, like, not, like, as aware as, like, the mean girls now. Like, the thing with, like, a mean girl now is, like, they're a little tougher and, like, they're mean online probably. So they're probably, like, much smarter and like with it, and they know how to get you. That's what Renee Rapp really brings to it, other than like the vocals.
Like, Renee Rapp was more underhanded, more like, I'm texting something mean. Like, why the fuck is this girl here? Like, Aaron invited her, I can't believe this. Versus Regina would like kind of play with people to their faces, but she'd be like crueler in person in a way that feels less in vogue now for Gen Z. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And in this version, she's more of like an animal playing with her food.
Yes.
Like really enjoying that. Whereas like the other Regina is more just like, I don't care.
Yes.
I'm done.
Exactly. You know? Absolutely.
So I love that little change.
I love Jenna Fisher too. I thought she did a
so
fucking
good.
great job.
Jenna was so good.
She was so good.
And Lord knows in that trailer, you know I thought that was Amy Adams. Literally, when she popped up in the movie, I was like, oh, it's Jenna Fisher, not Amy Adams.
That's so funny.
You know, bless both of them.
Absolutely.
They're little twinsies. I mean, I guess I haven't listened to the cast recording as much as you, but like, I really didn't notice that many orchestral changes, except for like the one obvious one.
Which one to you is the most obvious?
My favorite song in the show,
Stupid
with Love.
Stupid with Love.
Stupid with Love, which a lot of people are buzzing about online.
Yes.
Some people don't like the changes, some people do.
How do you feel?
I fucking loved it.
Really?
All y'all talking trash about it online.
Guys.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. It is far more character appropriate for the song to sound like that. The role of Katie Heron in this version was so much more naive, so much more lost, more innocent. And this version of Stupid with Love, I absolutely I mean, I love the original too, like Let's Get Real, but I was obsessed with this. It is gonna be my #1 song played on Spotify in the year. I'm positive. I've been streaming it nonstop. I think it's great.
I find this very shocking. I mean, we did talk a little bit on the Discord, so we knew we were gonna disagree here. And I guess we're moving into the second half of the video, because I must say, my biggest issue with the film is Katie. I forget the actress's name. We looked it up and it was something hard to say. Angourie Rice? Angourie Rice. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I'm sure she's done incredibly well in other movies. I didn't know if I was watching Poor Things or watching Mean Girls, because this girl does not come off as innocent in the beginning. She comes off as a robot who has never interacted with another human being. Sure, she has not been socialized with kids her age, but she's not a fucking Martian, like, until she started getting more and more plastic. And then I was like, okay, I'm kind of buying this. I'm kind of believing this. But her robotic acting performance unfortunately matched what they did to her vocals, which, like, okay, I don't hate that she, like, isn't a singer, but, like, this is auto-tuned to death, compressed to death. It's like she's talking to the music. The reason that I did not walk out being like, I fucking love this, was because the fact that I was watching C-3PO for half the film interact with Renee Rapp. I'm like, what? I truly am not a person who's like, I'm gonna judge people's acting performances all the time. You know this. I'm like, if you are believable as a human being, I think you did fine. I don't know that she passes that test.
She was my favorite performance in the movie.
Unbelievable! Like, what are you talking about?
The arc of her character felt so believable,
No.
felt so real, felt so compelling. I thought she was excellent. I think it was such a wonderful contrast to the rest of the plastics. I thought that the contrast like between her and Regina, the fact that she had such a like a small, timid, like Regina Spektor-y like type voice. Okay, yes, of course, but like it felt more of like a real person, whereas Regina George felt like the superstar, you know? So I love that there was the contrast between their two voices. She felt like such a real person singing for the first time, which is what I loved about the performance. I thought she was great. I was very compelled.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, but when I listen back to, I need to look up her last name, Erica, the Katie who originated the role on Broadway. It's like,
oh, she's great.
She's
yeah.
But and she's so charming and so warm. And of course, she's a Broadway performer. She has vocal talent. But even beyond the fact that she's like hitting the notes super well, it's like you can feel the personality of the character in every single song she sings. And I feel like I'm not trying to judge this girl on like ability to sing. It's the ability to inject the personality of the character into the songs. And I think there's nothing there.
But see, that's what I liked about it, is there was the contrast of like her sort of like stillness and like not knowing, like apprehensiveness, not knowing what to do around like the craziness and the massive amounts of energy happening all around her. And that's what I sort of think like grounded the film a little and made me sort of not go like, oh, okay, yes, we're a musical.
But like, not to be Matt Steele, why are we embarrassed to be a fucking musical? Like, that is my issue.
It wasn't an embarrassment to be a musical.
I need you to listen back to the cast recording on Broadway and then listen to the new versions. You did, and you can't tell the difference in the production of the music?
I can tell the difference in the production, but I don't think it's as drastic as people are making it out to be.
I think someone gets hurt. The fact that we've changed it from like, oh, it's a Bond girl kind of, she doesn't ever even do the fucking run, the big run at the end of every, and it's like, I get it, we're doing Billie Eilish, we're keeping it small, and like some of it works, but like, I want to see Renee Rapp sing. I want to hear those fucking notes come out of her throat. That one I feel like is very offensive to me, along with Stupid with Love, which by the way, doesn't just change like oh, we've changed the production. We're changing like the rhythm in which things are sung. Like these are full-on remixes.
It's a great song that I think works in either direction. I loved Till Someone Gets Hurt. I thought the production of it was so fun, so cool. Visually, I loved that scene.
I loved it. Visually, I loved it.
I think it gave the score such a sort of like distinct personality beyond just like, this is a musical, which sometimes contemporary Broadway scores kind of do.
Which I think I understand that, but it also feels like, you know how I have an issue with Destiny's Child's 8 Days of Christmas because it sounds like it was released in 2000, right when it was. Like there's, in my opinion, it would not have felt like, oh, this is not relatable to like the Gen Z era if it's going to be more timeless musically. Like it very much is going to sound like late 2023, early 2024 in 5 years. Like it's not going to hold up because the music is so like, okay, what's on the charts? Like, was the goal to get radio play? Because babes, no shade, we love everyone. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, and that's fine.
Maybe like I just like really like loved it just because I am so young.
I don't think that's it.
But see, like I feel like it gave, because it was like because the background music of the 2004 Mean Girls has like that 2004 like sound.
Sure.
Like it uses contemporary music of the time.
Sure.
And so I feel like that's why this Mean Girls works. But the thing is, like, I didn't feel like a huge disconnect between like the story of the Mean Girls today and the story of Mean Girls 20 years ago.
I
like
didn't either.
Aside from the social media stuff, which was very well done. I thought
agree.
like it wasn't hitting me over the head with like social media stuff, but it was still present. So I think that was very smartly done, and it was done in a way where that won't feel dated.
Right.
I feel like the story itself feels so timeless. And
True.
so I feel like it will work regardless, like years down the road, because the story is so strong.
Right. And I also appreciate, like, this didn't happen everywhere. I appreciated, like, the changes to Apex Predator I thought were nice, especially how the production drops out in the chorus of that song. I like that they kept the energy of Revenge Party, even if, like, some things were changed in the production. It definitely felt like it was in keeping. That, I think, was my favorite segment of the film.
Fantastic.
Like, we've talked about it on the, review of the cast recording, but, like, that song is so fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did not touch it as far as like rhythmically and melodically. Like it's what it was before because it's perfect and like no changes needed.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a disservice to, you know, a little bit Karen, but a lot Gretchen to have the Meet the Plastics just be the Regina part. Like, I feel like Gretchen didn't have a lot to do, and maybe she doesn't have a lot to do in the show, I don't remember, but I feel like that part of introduction and like seeing like the way, the patteriness of her section of that song, like gives her more heft. I also really like that actress who I believe is named BB, and she's also on Love Victor. She's incredible, and I think she deserved more, and that character deserved more because in the original, Gretchen's maybe one of my favorites. I also will say that I'm very impressed that whoever made the choice to cut the songs that were cut, I think did the perfect job.
You cut the right songs.
Look, it's not a perfect score. We're always saying it's no Legally Blonde the musical, but they cut the right fucking songs, except It Roars.
It Roars is very good. However, I feel like the song that they put in its place for Katie is a little more character appropriate in terms of like what we're doing. And also It Roars, as much as I like it, it kind of gives away the ending before like the show starts.
Oh, what she said?
The ending, it's just like we're all just like desperate to be accepted and we're all insecure. And that's literally like
that's not giving away the
I
ending.
mean, sure, but it's kind of like she knows the lesson before like it happens, kind of.
And I was watching a Tina Fey interview where she's like, a lot of this we could show, like a lot of what's happening in It Roars, we could just show it because it's, you know, it's in a cinematic way.
Sure.
And I don't dislike the new song. What's it called?
What Ifs.
What Ifs.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice song.
I think it's nice.
The thing I also like is because to me, like when I first heard the cast recording, I was kind of just like, oh, I like It Roars and I love Stupid with Love. But like for the two first Katie songs, they're both kind of similar in energy. So I do appreciate how like her first song has one energy and then Stupid with Love has a different energy.
I hear that.
But they still both feel like Katie's songs.
Yes.
You know? So I really love what they did to Stupid with Love. I think it's just much more character appropriate.
It's
because like in the Broadway production, yeah, she's singing her face off. She sounds amazing, but like she's so perky, like all the other girls, you know. Whereas this, she's different from the other girls.
she can be different and have a personality.
To me, it sounds like a teenage girl singing for the first time and just being like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Look,
it works for me.
I don't want to hear anybody sing for the first time, period. Again, I liked it more than I didn't like it. I think they did things well. The new jokes are unbelievable, and it was filmed really beautifully, and it was like unapologetic for a movie that was marketed the way it was. It was very much unapologetically a musical.
Oh my God, it starts off the bat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I appreciated it. I really enjoyed it. Even if I have my critiques, it was a joy to watch. I'm glad that it exists. I will be sticking with the original Broadway cast, but they did do some fun things, especially on I'd Rather Be Me. So kudos to all involved. We love you. Avantika, you're a fucking star. I want to see her perform sexy at the Oscars.
Oh, I mean, okay, we'll see if that happens.
That's
if
what I want.
Hard.
That's what I want.
You know what? We can all pray real hard.
We can. Pray it up. Pray it up.
Pray. This is not a religious channel.
It's not. But maybe next week.
Next week,
you never know.
We're doing movie reviews now.
I know. Look at it. I think it was Michael Smith was like, you guys should call it Cinemats.
Cinemats.
Oh, that's cute.
Welcome to Say Gay Cinemats.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Guys, tell us below in the comments what you thought of the Mean Girls musical film. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and other places at Matt Palmer Music.
And it's Matt Steele.
And at Two Gay Mats for both of us. We have a podcast that comes out every Monday wherever you get your podcast. It's called Two Gay Mats TWO as well. And if you really like us, want to see extra bonus content from us, make sure to go to patreon.com/2gaymats. You can join the Discord, meet a bunch of friends you haven't met yet. And we're actually just about to record a video of me introducing Victoria Monet to Matt Steele. So that's gonna come up soon.
My ears are open. I'm ready.
Yes, keep those ears open. And Matt Steele.
Yes.
Who do we need to give shout outs to?
We need to give shout outs to our legendary patrons whose names are Jen, Jacob, Jeff, Montana, Matthew, Jesse, Dallas, Sarah, Sam, Corinne, and Dr. Woods.
We love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Two Gay Mats.
Bye.
Bye.